So, back again. Just to experiment with, you have the stapler, push the nail line. You have the ribs, and then you have the elbow, very kind of control. And then the combination of all that right down into the feet. So just to play with the same movement as Sensei was doing, keep a nice, comfortable carriage and posture, as she said. And you have that kind of feeling that you've got all those options that motivate them to do it. It's perfect. If, just as one example, if I just do this without this other hand, then yes, it's going to be an option for my lower mind. Perfectly okay, that's what sensitive program. And, you know, certainly if I just go ahead and step through all these other options about how to do it. But this one again is just that right away you have the option of attending watch, right? It's good for them because you realize they can compromise and you also have these. It's just a moment to think about. And then take it from the ribs to the sacral also, because that's where you would be able to take it down, right? Be careful if you're pushing on the ribs, because it's floating ribs. You can easily pop a rib out of place. And the kidneys are there. So just be careful of that kind of positioning. Okay, let's go. Hopefully we try to stay to some Kihon-waza basic techniques so that everybody can learn something. And I always say that everything that we're doing is for all the beginners, you know, for me, 6 ton on down. Right? So all the beginners can get some of that. So now we can go on that. So it's a medium tampon, and then normally we want to do the group. Okay, so it's okay. But a medium tampon is just we'll give you a little bit of stretch in whatever manner you want. One can, again, for full control. So you always have to change the feel of movement and not let them go. Okay? So, but the main thing to work on, don't worry about that if you're beginner. So doing basically support. The elbow. Okay, some stretching this one. One step content or kaiten, depending on where you're from. Okay, so there's conductor Aihami. Okay, then that steps back. So if you just want to get one thing, that might be worth it. Okay. I like things to be practical, so you have a martial art, you know, it's a martial art practice. But this is a unique martial art. This is a martial art that has compassion in it, okay? But I think it's important to empower ourselves as to what we could do if it was required in the situation, right? And it might be that that was enough that I had to end it right there. Better to have damaged elbow or controlled elbow than to let it escalate beyond that, right? So as a basic, just nice and easy, I think you have that option, okay? Since you have that option, now you can make an ethical decision that no, you don't really need that. You can do all sorts of things with that positioning, right? But you could have, right? You could have if you had to, right? So for this, you step. You want to break it down for basic. Have this, and I'm going to use this to draw. Okay. Step back. Don't turn too soon. They'll come on top of you. So it's really like step, elbow, Euro in the line. Okay. Is it better to rush through something or to take your time, be methodical, right? I've always said that I think the cable company's taking this now, but slow or fast, but never half-fast. Right? So you can go fast. Being fast is different than rushing it. Okay? You go fast, everything knows its place. So take your time, teach everything its place. So think about the beginning more than the end. Okay? Hey, let's try it.
Hey.
Thank you. You step in. If he has a clothing, gee, this is great. But they don't always have clothing, so just a cut. Right? Plus, if you grab, there's tension that starts to go through you. It starts to inhibit the speed and comfort and viability of your movement. And if I grab, there's a reaction for him too. Okay? So it can be done, but to practice this kind of soft touch, if I touch him softly, he's going to have a certain reaction in his head. If I touch him strongly, he's going to have a certain reaction too. So I'll cup it, and have it this soft. The whole body is moved. And by this time, everybody's starting to sweat a little bit. So you take your time, you can use there. Wipe your brow. And then that's using this, okay? And like we've all been talking about, we have two hands, so why not use that one? And just like you're raising a cane, you just don't raise this one, goes along your center. So once I'm in this position, this hand works as well. So if this is having a hard time drawing them over, this one comes into play. Okay, no need to rush. Some good quality one start rather than a bunch of slop. Right. We're training one person all the time. Look at things fresh. Find out what you can learn. It's not so much that you're learning from the teacher, you're learning from like Sensei Takahashi. You're learning from the teacher within. So we're all viable people. We're all taking in information all the time. The practice is mindfulness practice, not to fall into rote things. So, for instance, my years of training go on me for this sort of thing. Meaning for me, if I play devil's advocate, he's being nice enough that he lets me go through. But at some point, he stopped and I'm moving. So if he wanted to, he can take it back. I'm going through, he's liable. So certainly there's things that, all that sort of thing will distract your mind and have other attention. But this one, they keep moving. So if you find yourself stepping through, practice will lead you step back. And there's a lot of why we do a variety of things, because there's a variety of situations we want to prepare for. We just don't do a molding. We do Buddha. We just don't do Tenkan. We do AB. We do Tenshin. So, and then if you want to practice it, pretending logic, you can just keep going. Standing pin, I got a busy highway right down to his shoulder, and then slip. Push. Hold. Leg comes up to keep his elbow from going away. Just like yesterday, as I stand up, I'm going to use him and kick the air out of him. That sets him into mat time. Now I can use this finger, collar. Okay, so just to play with it a little bit, see what kind of variations you can get out. So I think I went over this. I ideal socket, this finger is here. It's got a nice connection through the right to the base. If you do this, that's just to learn, so you know to hold the little finger and not like this where you have to go away. But then he can grab that. So you keep everything covered. And essentially this is a yin and yang. You know? Here's the yang and this is yin. So in massage you have one hand or elbow that's doing the work, and then you have a mothering hand that soothes, right? So essentially this is doing the work and this is doing the mothering. Okay? So then if I grab like this, just like a handshake, he's going to be able to pound out of it. Just take that one knuckle, so you get the base of the finger. So if you want, once you have that, just to use your center. Then walk the elbow down, keeping it right in front of your center. Slide in so you have good contact, and then a little bit of weight. And then you have it so if you want to. Okay, so if you're looking for one, that's very easy now. Looking for one, get a good socket to begin with, because if you don't have a good socket, something's going to feel funny all the way through. Okay? So you get a good socket, then you get a nice comfortable feeling. Good connection through. Now, not just moving it with his arm, my hands, okay? Slide in, nice contact, and another variation is just to turn the wrist like that, but that would be damaging, so be careful.
Sure.
So then, okay, let's try it. And, whatever, you got joint issues or whatever, you tune in, find out how you're doing it with your body. You get optimal deep breathing, so everything starts to get oxygen to the muscles, prepare for the practice, and all the benefits that I mentioned before. So you have that. Then you start to methodically go, okay, where do I need to go with this? Okay, you turn out, okay, let's kind of grab, okay, and then you do this, okay, all right. So now where do we go from there? Okay, you step back and you think about cupping. So think about these things so you're conscious of it. It's mindfulness. Thinking about it. And in a way, we always have to remember that as we start connecting to ourselves, we connect to the technique, we connect to our partner, we connect to the other side of our partner, to the back foot and everything like that. So if I'm just thinking about myself, there's one level of practice. But as I do this, I have to remember these viable. Okay? So as I do this, there's that idea that I'm sending that other hand past. Okay? So that was the quick way. There's the slow way. And then at the end, you wind up getting this Sankhya. If I think too much about this, he's got, So I have to think right on through not just his center, not just move his center, but maybe his back foot. So now I know he's got another hand. If I'm just thinking about this, he can redirect this in some manner. If I'm not skilled enough, I won't go along with it. Technique, right? So he's trying to strike me. I have to be aware that he's got another hand. So I'm thinking right on through. So it might be worthwhile not even to go to 10, but because you might start thinking too soon about the end. Right? So more important to think about the beginning, build on that. So you have a comfort level that's connected all the way through. The ending is a distraction for us. We think, okay, get to the end. Right? So then we start to do things like that. And no good. And so if our partner is going to keep us honest, we're going to do that. So if he's going to keep me honest, I have to be appropriate. And in this case, you have to do something. And by the way, when we first go in, it's the other way to moving past. And so we're always thinking from here on up too, but just the way of moving past. Anyway, play for another few minutes. If you just want to go down to, take it right down to Sankhya. And again, there's all sorts of variations, depending on what they're doing, what's happening, their flexibility, the relationship arm to arm and all that. Okay, so for this other one, let me turn this over. I'm going to keep this on. Don't let it go like this. You're going to be able to get up. Okay? And I'm going to ask Rich to get up whenever he can. I'll make some mistakes so you can see. Oh, I can always, yeah. I haven't. Yes. So I want you to pretend that you're really pissed at me and you won't get back to me. Yes, see? Okay. You're really pissed, you want to get back. Yeah. So you're pissed and you're going to try and get back at me anytime. So at this point, if I'm doing too much, relax, relax, you know, that sort of thing, he's not going to relax. So I want to be able to control him. There's some pain motivation, right? Because if there's no pain, what's he going to do? So this is control and compliance, you know, my take on it, right? So you can still look for any opportunity. Any opportunity. Any opportunity. Yes, yes. Anything. And if need be, you're going to relax your hands if needed. Let me help you up. Okay. Try it out another minute or two. Working with Tim, it's inspired me and bringing some of my things that I've found over the years, working with law enforcement and those and thinking about how to keep them safe so they can go home. But this goes into our basic of having ourselves be comfortable. If you're not comfortable, it's the airplane thing. First you put the oxygen mask on yourself, then you put on someone else, right? So you get yourself in the best place you can in order to interact. Right? We don't always have that, you know, but that's life. You know? So how can we get it back as quickly as possible? You know? And I like the one quote of O-Sensei's, someone apparently said to him, Sensei, do you ever lose your center? He said, yes, all the time. But I get it back so fast, nobody notices. So I just want to leave you with the idea of look at yourself first. Okay? If you're putting tension into yourself, into your grip, it's one thing to have control and compliance. You know? I didn't get involved emotionally in that. I needed to have a good, strong grip and good positioning. Okay? But I needed to keep myself in a place where I was still going to transfer compassion, you know, control, compliance, compassion. You know? So yeah, if we can bring that into our practice, because we're working with another human being that has the same experiences that we do, same limitations and same possibilities. So for me, that's what it's all about. I connect to a new person. I see where I'm at. I'm about 1,000 different personalities, just like you. There's some major ones that stand out. Anyway, it's a beautiful art, and